Good morning, everybody. 2023 was quite a year. This disruption came into play, a disruptive innovation called generative AI that swooped in with the launch of ChatGPT in November of 2022. The bulk of equity funding went into generative AI. Actually, funding in general kind of swooped way down across every industry except for Gen AI. And it took about $17.4 billion into the market, and that was just as of October of 2023. The bulk of that went into infrastructure, and a lot of us think of infrastructure as like chips and hardware, and certainly that all came into play. But the bulk of infrastructure when we talk about generative AI is really the large language models. Those foundational models become the building block, and that's where most of that money flew into over the course of this year. And 300 plus new vendors found their way to market. We not only surveyed the solution providers, but we also did the vendors this time. And what we saw is that your generative AI adoption plans absolutely accelerated. If you take a look at the adoption curve here and you look at that first bucket where you've integrated it into workflows, just from October to now, it jumped from 5% to 12%. As solution providers, you're generally open to generative AI opportunities. You know it's coming. I think it's more about how do we get ourselves around this and kind of move forward. The single most and biggest innovation that's going to happen in terms of business model changes, shifts, Gen AI brings a natural language interface to every task. And that changes and shifts where value gets created. Generative AI, it's going to change data science, it's going to change data analytics, and those data pipelines are going to be really, really important for everybody to focus on as we go and do this.
The way that we bill our clients, we have to tag them, right? Sounds like a simple thing. Human error though, right? The human factor there is real, So we tried everything. We tried training and reminders and pop-ups and all of that stuff, right? But we realized that we're not going to be able to handle this on the human level. We have to switch to a systematic approach. Once we started going down that road, we realized hyperautomation is there, and we can pair that with AI, with a co-pilot or something, right? And have a hyper-automated back end to handle all of the scripting and all of the automation that comes with that. And the low-hanging fruit was all of the L1 stuff on the engineering side. User onboardings and offboardings, password resets, the silly stuff, right? But we realized that we spend between 12 to 26 hours a week on an onboarding or an offboarding. If 45% of the issues that come in are L1 issues, right? And if we're handling 300 nodes, then if we can eliminate the L1 stuff and automate that completely, right? Whether it's a zero touch or whether an engineer just has to click something, we can scale that up to 550 nodes.
I think it's important for everyone to realize we're at the beginning of the beginning, right? Like the hype scale is off the charts. Humans have been working with AI for, I think it's almost 70 years. But we had a lightning strike about 16 months ago with the release of sort of ChatGPT, and then that's now opened up the potential. We definitely see consulting and the work we do, and you and Scott's team, that is one of the areas where we see tremendous opportunity. There's just, there are certain low-value tasks that you have really high-value people working on that generative AI can take off the table and therefore give us more time, right, to be more productive and create value for our customers. So we're running right now some very, very considered, defined tests, right? And I would tell everybody in this room, do not go charging in and trying to push Gen AI onto the entire organization, because it's actually very risky. You need to have very small tests with defined KPIs, see how those go, and then you kind of move out and you move out. Spending on Gen AI will be about $151 billion by 2027.
Yep.
We're in 2024. We're going to go through a massive, massive refresh cycle in the hardware space, particularly on the PCs, because you've got the overhang from sort of post-pandemic and the lockdown. But now also you've got these AI-empowered machines, right, coming, and they're going to dominate the market by that'll be 60% of the market by 2027. Your customers are going to be reading about this, they're going to be hearing about it, they're seeing stock prices going through the roof. but they're going to need help in like, well, what does that actually mean? Like, and how do you actually apply that to my business or this vertical?